go. Hear me out. Episode 20, I think. 19 or 20.
25. Episode 25.
Episode 20. It's been a long layoff or whatever. We had a couple of different things go on. Folks have been busy, family stuff, whatnot.
Real life.
So let's actually do a check-in first before we go into things, and then we can go into the rest of the content.
For sure. Kick it off.
So my check-in, mental, professional, and personal. So mental, I'm at about a 7.5, 8. Just a lot of things going on. Professional, things are right at about a 8, 8.5. Things are going really well. Business is picking up, or whatever. And then just kind of on the personal, I'm at a probably a 6 or a 7 right now. My grandma is a little sick or whatever. Looks like she's getting released from the hospital today or tomorrow. She's on the mend, 97 years old. Grandma, I love you. I know you ain't watching this, but I love you.
97 years old. They don't make them like that anymore,
right.
son.
She's a tough little Negro Pino, black and Filipino. So I'm good there. Whatever. And then, one of the things that I alluded to from not so great is it looks like we've decided to kind of go in separate directions or whatever. So Don won't be on the.
It's my last day on the show.
Don won't be on the show moving forward or whatever. He's elected to do some other things with his life. We wish him well. He's still our boy, still my brother, still loving or whatever. So so there's that. But we will have lots of interesting and exciting guests or whatever and on the show. So we're just gonna keep rocking with it. All right, B, check in.
What was it? Personal, professional, and what? Mental. All right. Personal is, I don't know, I would say somewhere around like a 6, just because there's real life stuff. As we get older, we deal with, older members of our family getting sick or not feeling well, or, there's all kind of real life stuff that comes in. But, I'll give it a, I'm not even going to say a 6. I'll give it a 6.5. I'll get creative this week. But I'm still here, and, loved ones and family are still here. We're all just trying to push through these challenges, so that's that. Mental, I'm at like an 8.5. 8.5. I really was able to actually going on vacation for a while and coming back will set anybody's mental right for a little bit, but was able to spend some quality time with my family and kind of get a second energy about myself. So I'm feeling pretty good mentally. Professional, I'm at a 10, y'all. Won't he do it? I'm at a 10 for real. With a lot of hard work on my own and a lot of prayer and faith. I've been blessed with some great opportunities, some great changes. One door open, one door closes, another one opens. So life is pretty good right now. As always, I'm not just concerned about myself. I'm always concerned about everybody in my circle. And there's some wins and there's some losses, but we're all still here. So life is good. Ready to rock with this show. Let's get it.
So there we go. So let's kick it off with NIL. That's a big thing. Name, image, likeness, or whatever. What you think, bro?
For sure. Man, so I think I was just listening to the radio today and thinking about the upcoming, college football season. Although it applies to all sports, not just football, but I'm gonna stick with football right now because that's really kind of the train that drives everything. But college football used to be very much an amateur sport, right? There wasn't the big TV deals, the billion-dollar TV network contracts. Coaches a while back, not in the too distant past, weren't making $10 million plus a year. and players are players. Everything was on an amateur level. Over the course of the last several years, we've gotten these billion-dollar TV contracts. I think Nick Saban, the best there is, I think he's made like almost close to $100 million now coaching. So those are like two-thirds. Those are two-thirds of the equation of what makes college football happen. The other third is obviously the players. And up until, recently with NCAA regulations, if a player was going to a ceremonial event, he couldn't accept a suit from somebody. It was a violation. If they were hungry, their meal plan was spent out and they needed food, they couldn't accept a meal without it being a violation. So there was a lot of money being exchanged on one side of the bar and not on the other. So I think the NIL gives these players an opportunity to kind of market themselves and to gain some money. Now, this is going to might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not sure if that's really the best thing for the sports. But I do think things need to be equitable. I can't say that these schools and the coaches should be getting tens of millions, and in some cases billions of dollars, and then the actual people that are on the field. And yes, they do get a free education, but even the cost of that free education does not equate to the billion-dollar TV deals or the $12 million a year contracts. So I think it's a good thing. It's definitely going to change the landscape of college football. I don't care what people say. Alabama's still going to be Alabama. Tennessee's still going to be Tennessee, although Tennessee's on the other side of the spectrum right now. But I think it's going to change. Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe I'm like, oh man, I remember back in the day when Bo Jackson was at Auburn and everything was much simpler. Those times are long gone. But if there's going to be money exchanging hands in the way that it's doing now, it needs to go full circle, and all the hands need to be in there. So it's good, man. I think these players, we're really going to see just how smart some of these players are and just how business savvy they are too. There are several examples of these kids already getting paid.
So speaking of that, like you said a little bit earlier that you felt like Alabama was still going to be Alabama, Tennessee was still going to be Tennessee or whatever. But I don't know if that's really the case, man, because when you look at like even I'm going to transition because I'm definitely more of a basketball guy, so I'll transition a little bit. Mikey Williams, kind of number one ranked, I think sophomore, junior in the nation. I think it's junior.
Where did he play ball
He plays in South Carolina. He's actually playing at in high school, in a new school started by his dad called Vertical Academy.
Oh. Did not know that.
And it's very much the plan seems to be very much similar to what IMG Academy is or whatever. So it's one of those places where they're planning it to be one of those kind of factories where they're bringing in all the top talent and they're playing only against each other or whatever. So it looks like it's going to be something interesting. But and we can kind of talk about Vertical Academy, kind of at another time because it's a very interesting concept. Yeah. But Mikey Williams signed an NIL deal, which allows, so now he signed a deal with a sports marketing company that is authorized to get him name, sponsorship, merchandising deals, and they're talking about this could be worth millions of dollars for him. For he and his family. Yeah. And when you look at that, he's one of those. He put out his list the other day of his top 10 teams, and of his top 10 teams he wants to go to. And this guy is a consensus 5-star recruit. All of his teams in his top 10 none of them are powerhouse teams. They are all HBCUs. So seeing that he's talking about going to an HBCU and playing makes me think that, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Alabamas, the Tennessees, all those folks that you named a little bit earlier, they might be in trouble because I think there's a big-time shift that's going on. And when we talk about it not necessarily about Alabama being Alabama and Tennessee being Tennessee and so forth and so on, the thing that's going to be really interesting is with these NIL deals, somebody like a Mikey Williams, he's going to bring in he'll bring in a few $1 million off of those deals. He's going to be making more than his coaching staff. at an HBCU. He'll be making more as an 18 or 19-year-old kid than every adult on that staff. He'll be pulling up, you know. You can see him pulling up in a, you know, or see a kid, not necessarily him, but you can see a kid pulling up in a Lamborghini, Ferrari, something like that, coming to class. So it's,
man. How do you manage that?
How do you manage that?
I think a very mature 18-year-old to be able to manage that and still go realize, why he got that type of opportunity and still go onto the field and perform. And it takes a certain type of coach to be able to manage that. Like I said, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying if everybody's getting paid, let everybody get paid. But I think it's going to change. I think it's going to change a lot in the landscape.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I think that the landscape itself will change dramatically because of a combination of that convergence of NIL and kids being a lot more on social media. So they're on social media and they amass these large followings. Mikey Williams has got 5 million followers, right? So he presumably he's making money off of his Instagram followers already.
Now, is that currently an NCAA violation? If you play for NCAA teams, you get paid.
You cannot. You could not before this, and the way that I know that's true is because there's a kid that's on YouTube, a young man that's on YouTube. Sorry about that. Donald De La Haye, he goes by Destroying on YouTube and all social media. He was a kicker at UCF. And he had a big YouTube following, and the NCAA came down and was like, hey, like, you got to pick. You can either be a kicker in the NCAA or you can be a YouTube guy. He chose to go the YouTube route, and he makes a ton of money now.
Because of the money.
Or whatever, but he's still pursuing his dream.
I know that kid. I saw him. He was kicking like some kind of crazy field goal. I think he actually
kicked a 70-yard. Yeah, I've seen him kick 70-yard, a couple 70-yard field goals. And then yesterday I saw him kick a 50-yard field goal one way, then a 50-yard field goal the other way, and I'm like, I don't know why this kid's not on the team. Yeah, man,
try the kid out, man. Put some pressure on him though. You know, like that's what makes kickers. I mean, you might need to release like some Rottweilers at him while he's kicking or something. See how he handles pressure.
Exactly.
You know, we gotta see how he performs out of that. But yeah, no, I saw that, and but now to your point with the NIL, now he can have the opportunity to do both. Man. I'm trying to think of myself, 18 years old, when I got $500 in my pocket when I was 18. It was, you know, so how do these kids?
What was that?
How do these kids really
that? What was that? What was that move?
Oh, it's sending money to everybody. It's giving money out.
Right.
Who needs
You're sending money out through the mail.
Giving money out. That's right. Everybody gets a 20. But no, in all honesty, though, the maturity that it takes to kind of handle those type of financial responsibilities. Because remember now, we see professional athletes that get that kind of money and go broke because they're not financially stable or aware or haven't been taught those skills. So now you're going to push that to even an earlier type of athlete. There's definitely things that are going to be managed and some cracks that are going to be formed for this. I just, you know what? And these colleges could take some steps towards closing some of those cracks too. Now, knowing that they're going to have some superstars that are going to be able to take advantage of this NIL, maybe they could do some financial literacy classes for them or some financial coaches for them. Maybe it's already being done. I don't know. But that needs to be a train of thought.
Absolutely should. So the NBA and the NFL, I know for sure, have classes for folks that are coming in or whatever into the league or whatever. So financial literacy. Make sure you get a financial planner, all those kinds of things, lawyers and all that. So they have classes when they come in as rookies. It would behoove the NCAA to bring that kind of mentality into sports at that level because it's part of it, right? And the more of those things that they do, actually, the smarter the athletes will be able to get. And you should see, hopefully, athletes who, once they go from college to the pros, it's less of a transition from a financial standpoint because they've already now got money. They've already had money for 2, 3, 4 years. 1, 2, 3, 4 years or whatever. So now they know how to handle that, and they know how to handle at least they've already had the media training. They get media training and everything like that when they're in college anyway.
But think about all the other pressures that come along with having that kind of money. You hear pro athletes talk about all the family that comes out the woodwork. Everybody needs help. Like, there's a lot of preparation for handling stuff like that needs to be considered. And above all, I still think and I hope that education is still at the forefront. I'm not sure. I know graduation rates vary between different universities or what, but education still needs to be paramount. And now, when you have that kind of money, maybe now you're a finance major, so you actually know how to handle that type of money. It's interesting to see. Like most things in life, there'll be people that take advantage of the situation and come out better, and there'll be people that squander it, and money won't solve their problems. So we'll see how it develops. But overall, I think it was a long time coming. I think every one of those athletes that signs a deal needs to break off a check to Ed O'Bannon, formerly of UCLA. Because he started this whole conversation around name, image, and likeness with his lawsuit against EA Sports. I think it was over the NCAA basketball game. I think him and his brother, actually. I believe there's two of the O'Bannon brothers. So many times in life, people don't recognize the people that actually paved the way for where they are now. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. And, best of luck to my University of Miami quarterback, Mr. King, that's getting paid off of it. There's another Alabama quarterback that's getting paid. Master P's son, I think, signed like a $2 million deal. There's all kind of athletes that are doing things. Hopefully there's less ramen noodles being eaten in those dorms now.
Ramen's delicious. Quit hating.
Go get you some chicken Alfredo now. Go over to not Landry. Go over to the Educated Palate. Get something good to eat.
They don't have that. They don't have that anymore. It's gone.
Yeah. Old school Georgia Southern folks recognize that though.
Landrum and the Educated Palate.
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's try this. We're gonna transition to something else, and with that, I'm gonna hit my new boom transition. So let's transition over to something that's supposed to be actually amateur athletes or whatever, and it's the Olympics. So the Olympics started, I think, this morning. And the torch was lit by one of my favorite people, Naomi Osaka. So shout out to Naomi. I'm positive she watches the show or whatever. So definitely shout out to Naomi. But the Olympics started today. I think cycling race is like 10 tonight. There's a lot of soccer that's gonna go on. So I'm excited for the women to redeem themselves because they got absolutely spanked 3-0. Was that yesterday? Today? Yesterday.
I think it was yesterday. I was listening to Megan Rapinoe talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm counting on you, ladies. Y'all got to do something. But let's talk about the men's and women's basketball teams because let's talk about it. I'm a little. Well, ahead, I mean, I have two very differing thoughts on both of those teams. Let's start with the women, ladies first. The women did get stunned and lost the other day in a game that didn't matter. They lost to the WNBA All-Star team, which the WNBA is 144 of the absolute best women's basketball players in the world, or whatever. And you've got the Olympic national team, which is made up of all WNBA players, or whatever. But on the WNBA All-Star team, you got a team full of WNBA All-Stars. So I wasn't surprised to see that they lost to that team. Their Chelsea Gray absolutely went off. She's. I mean, Arika Gumke. Chelsea Gray is a point guard on the national team. Arike Gubinwale is one of she scored 26, 27 points or whatever. She absolutely went off against the U.S. national team or whatever, and she had one of those games. She should probably be on the U.S. team, but she's not on the team. Whatever. But I still think that the women's national team will win. It won't be close. They're going to beat the brakes off of everybody. That team is just that good, and they'll win their 7th championship in a row. Now,
so why hasn't women's basketball internationally caught up with men's basketball internationally? Because the gap between talent with men internationally and women is light years. Like the other international teams are able to compete and often whoop, some of the NBA teams or NBA national players on the national team. Whereas with women's, there's still a huge gap there.
So,
I wonder why that is.
So my thought is it's the concentration, right? So like I said, when you look at the WNBA, the WNBA is more elite than the NBA, and the reason why is sheer numbers. You're talking about 100
elite.
You're talking about 144 players, 144 of the best players in the world because there's fewer teams. So 144 players, the best 144 players in the world versus the top 450 players, right? So what's happening is out of that pool, you get up towards the top, and when you get up towards the top, so NBA the top is here, WNBA the top is here, or whatever. So it's a wildly different level, or whatever. So I think that WNBA All-Star team could also have won the gold medal. They could just say everybody that's on the national team right now, they could all go, oh, y'all could go home, and we could switch teams, and that team would still win. That team would still win.
So what's going on with the men's basketball team losing to Nigeria and Australia? I saw a meme the other day. It was like in Kevin Durant's, and KD's a beast, by the way, so I'm not trying to throw shade. But in Kevin Durant's first year as the best player on the planet, he lost. He didn't make it out the Eastern Conference, and he lost to Nigeria in the Olympics, which is like, the NBA should be able to roll out their second NBA All-Star team, all NBA team and win gold. So I don't know if it's lack of cohesion, lack of leadership. I don't know if it's lack of LeBron.
Well, it's a lack of a couple of different things, right? So this is the first year, and this is why I bet Adam, you gon' give me my money. You're gonna give me my $20 when the men's U.S. national team does not win this gold medal.
Yeah, I had 10 on that too.
No Coach K. And wait a minute.
He's no slouch.
No Coach K. No Jerry Colangelo. Right? So you take all of the consistency. This has been the group. This has been the squad. This has been that leadership. So you take the coaching and the general manager out of it or whatever, and then you take all the cream off of the top. No LeBron, no Steph Curry, no Anthony Davis, no Carmelo, no Chris Paul, no Kawhi, no D Wade. So all of these guys were the top or whatever. So you take the 7 or 8 best players, 8 or 9 of the best players on the team completely out of it, and then and those guys are all established winners. Coach K is an established winner.
That's the key.
LeBron, KD still playing.
Whoa. We're calling KD an established winner?
He's got what, 2 championships? He's got 2 or 3 NBA. He's got 2 NBA championships. He's got a couple gold medals or whatever. He's got Olympic gold medals. He's got Finals MVP. I mean, so I'm gonna say I think did he get a national championship as well? Because I think he got world championships or whatever. So he's got a bunch of so he's an established winner. So you got all of these guys that are established winners or whatever, and they're all gone. And then you bring in guys that are really, really exceptional players. You take nothing away. Draymond's a winner. KD's a winner. But then after that, who else do you have that are winners on that team?
I'm gonna pause for a second and say this. And like I said, I'm not trying to take anything away from KD because he's the most skilled basketball player of all time, I think, in my opinion. The guy's an unstoppable scoring machine. But maybe the national team would be better if Steph Curry and Klay Thompson was there along with KD and Draymond, because that's kind of how those cats win when they have those guys with them, And I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but I'm just saying it's a different dynamic leading a team to win and being on a winning team. Those are two completely different things.
When I look at it, I'm like. You got Dame Lillard. He's a great player. You got Zach LaVine. Great player, or whatever. But
Bradley Beal. Although I think he's off it now.
Yeah, Bradley Beal's off of it. I mean, and he's a bucket, right? But he's gone, or whatever. You replace him with, I don't even know who that guy was. Or whatever. Kevin Love is gone, and that's not a big loss. And then you got kind of an upgrade with JaVale McGee because he's way more athletic. He's going to give you more on the defensive end.
Time out.
JaVale McGee is replacing Kevin Love or whatever, so he's there. So he's still springy, still bouncy, still a rim protector. Still can get.
Was he even an All-Star?
I don't know if he was an All-Star this year, but.
So that's the answer, and I'm not. JaVale McGee brings all kind of energy and passion to teams. He's an NBA player. He's one of the best basketball players in the world, right? Like that, he's the best of the best. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I think now we're getting to the heart of it, right? Like I'm gonna go way back to like the original Dream Team. The worst player on that team was Christian Laettner, who was a college player at the time. After that, like the worst player on the team was still. Not the worst player, but the least celebrated player of the team maybe was like Chris Mullin, who was still a Hall of Famer. Okay, John Stockton, still a Hall of Famer, all-time assist leader, and one of the most celebrated players at his position in history. So now we go from that being the low bar to JaVale McGee, and now we know why we're getting beat by Nigeria.
JaVale was not in that game, and neither was the other kid who I don't even know who he was.
I'm just saying the bar's been low.
I mean, but the thing is like I said. Like, I'm looking at it going, well, again, Popovich is a great coach or whatever, and they're not going to play a sexy style of basketball because San Antonio never played a sexy style of basketball. It's going to be big fundamental all day long or whatever. So, but when you look at the style of play, they're changing the style of play or whatever to something that they haven't played in probably ever, and then they're trying to get, it looks like they're trying to go, oh, we're going to get good role players and things like that. And when you play like that, you're not going to overwhelm teams with your ability. You got, like, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the guy that they brought in, but you could have brought in Zion Williamson. You could have brought in Trae Young or whatever. Like you could have brought in all of these players.
The best.
Yeah, you could have brought those kinds of players in.
You throw the ball out there. Just get the best of the best and be like, yo, go beat them by 50. Do what you do. Make it happen. You think Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Charles Barkley and David Robinson and Karl Malone were like, let's run these set plays? Do you think LeBron James and Steph? No, it's like, yo, we're the best of the best. Run it like an all-star game. There's no real plays being ran, Just get out there, throw the ball out, and go beat them by 50. Kevin Durant should be scoring 50 if that's what it takes to win, Bradley Beal, he's out there, should have been scoring 50. That's what, go hoop, man. You're the NBA. You're the best of the best.
And that's the thing. It's they went and got it. They got NBA players, but the problem is they didn't get NBA hoopers. That to me is the problem. You got basketball players out there. You don't have hoopers, and you got to have something. You got to do something a little bit different, man. Like it can't be. Oh, we're would it have been nice to have the Devin Booker out there? Absolutely, or whatever.
I think he is joining. I think there are some players that ran late that are joining.
I think the roster's full because they filled it with those two players. I thought there were some people that were joining afterwards. Maybe were still playing, I heard something about Book. I heard something about Middleton or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of those guys didn't join or whatever. I don't know, but
shout out to Chris Middleton, Mike Light. Dude was clutch, man. Had some baller games in the playoffs.
And you know what? What we have to do that we have not done is give a shout out to the NBA champs, the Milwaukee Bucks, and give a shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo, who probably was not the best player on his team per someone else that we know, who shall not be named. Probably could have been replaced with Danilo Gallinari. I don't know.
I'm going to put that out there. So I was told, and I'm not calling any names, but in a heated conversation, at least heated for one party, that Giannis Antetokounmpo was not an essential piece to the Milwaukee Bucks, and that he could be replaced by other players that could take up the slack, and that the Bucks at time are a better team without Antetokounmpo. Yeah, for everybody that wants to hear that. And specifically for you Atlanta folks, that he could be replaced with Gallinari from the Hawks, and the Bucks could be just as good because other players will pick up the slack, and you find those points and those rebounds and those block shots and those steals. I think he was 35-12, 5, and 2 blocks a game or something crazy like that during the playoffs, and had one of the most epic game closeout games in NBA history. That guy was amazing, man. He was amazing and humble while he did it.
I have to say that post championship, Giannis has been the most entertaining thing for me to watch. This guy showed up at Chick-fil-A and ordered himself he's riding around with the Larry O'Brien trophy and the Bill Russell trophy. So that's the championship and the MVP trophy. And all of a sudden, he decides he's going to go to Chick-fil-A. So he orders a 50-piece or whatever because he dropped a 50-piece in the finals. That to me was amazing and awesome. Looks like we lost Brandon for a moment. I don't know what happened. There we go. He's coming back.
Technical difficulties. My bad, man.
No worries. So Giannis went to Chick-fil-A and then ordered a 50-piece. 50-piece nugget. And I was like,
shout out to the 81 Olives, Kobe Bryant Mamba. I think that was ode to Kobe right there. That was nice.
That was beautiful. Chick-fil-A, y'all need to cut that man a check. Cut that man a check.
Cut us a check too while you're at it. Get enough people to view this.
Yeah, we'll take that. Give us a.
Actually, I'll take payment in nuggets. I love Chick-fil-A. Y'all did me dirty a couple months ago, but it's all good.
We're not gonna say nothing bad about Chick-fil-A. We appreciate y'all, Chick-fil-A.
I like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we we had some good topics today. Anything else you want to talk through, bro?
No, man. I'm just got a different energy over the last couple of weeks. Life is good. Got some other things I need to get back engaged in, some volunteer efforts or whatnot that I'm looking forward to do that. But overall, man, life is good and happy to be here.
All right. So say the thing that you say at the end of all of these shows.
Well, I'll say a few things. First of all, we are all more alike than we are different. Let's unite and like and subscribe, y'all.
Like, subscribe, comment, hear me out. We out.
It's a wrap.